Welcome back to the show, and this is how we are starting off this Monday edition of The Pulse. And we'll start from the political front because some political parties are questioning the competence of the Electoral Commission after admitting another error in its provisional registration update. So at the end of the 11 of the limited voter registration exercise, the EC figure suggested 459,281 had been registered. But 11 hours later, after posting the figures, the EC admitted error, saying Greater Accra was wrongly repeated for Upper East on the slide on challenge cases earlier published. The political parties are questioning the EC's competence in the entire exercise. But at the news conference on Friday, Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, said robust mechanisms have been put in place to prevent future occurrence.
Faulty machines and inaccurate registration statistics. The Commission has duly and publicly acknowledged the challenges that were faced, especially in the first 2 days of the ongoing limited voters registration exercise. The registration process has since been seamless and smooth, as the public can testify and as the daily registration figures show. For example, in the first 2 days of the registration, we had a total of 35,784. However, on days 3 and 4, we had a total of 107,230. Since then, the daily statistics has been on the rise. On the issue of mistakes in infographs that the Commission acknowledged and corrected, it is important to reiterate that those mistakes did not affect the actual number of registered voters per district or region. All the political parties with agents at the various registration centers, including the NDC, have the same registered voters figures as the Commission. As a Commission, we will not hide from our mistakes. What is more important is that we identified why the mistakes happened and why they were not detected before publication. We have since put in place a system that will make sure this never happens again.
Well, the clergy and all religious bodies have been appealing to rise and speak against the lack of transparency leading to the upcoming elections. John Dramani Mahama, who is the flag bearer of the NDC, has ignited accusations against the EC and Pwalugu government of appointing party loyalists in an attempt to twist the outcome of the elections in their favor. Mr. Mahama emphasized that the growing tension, if not intervened by the clergy, can lead to chaos in the upcoming elections. He spoke during an engagement with a Christian and numerical council here in Accra.
We are preparing for the election, and we believe that as moral voices of society, you must not take your eyes off the ball. The EC is the arbiter, the EC is the umpire, and the EC must not only be neutral, it must be seen to be neutral and non-partisan. Unfortunately, recent events do not give us confidence about this. There's a president who is appointing politically, exposed people into positions of trust where they are supposed to be neutral and non-partisan. And so people who have been communicators for the party, people who have been IT backstops for the party, today are commissioners of the Electoral Commission. How do you expect them to be neutral and fair in what is happening? People who were patrons of TESCON on campus are today commissioners of the Electoral Commission. How do we expect them to be neutral and fair in what is coming up? And so it means that we must be vigilant, we must be more alert. We as political parties are going to use the instruments that are provided in the Electoral Code to ensure that the election is free and fair. We're going to train our party agents. We're going to incentivize them to be vigilant on the day. We're going to make sure that we are at the collation centers on time and we witness the tally of the results. We're going to police the election every step of the way. But sometimes there are things that are difficult to control. For instance, our last complaint was about recruitment of returning officers. You heard Hobson Adoye on radio say that they took MPP executives from Kumau and brought them to a Jusu by-election as returning officers. And there are pictures of some of them who are executives. And we are not able to check it because the CI says that 14 days before an election, before the by-election, we were supposed to have the list of returning officers and be able to make an objection if we believe that somebody is a politically exposed person. We went to a Jusu by-election without the list of returning officers. And so it was possible for them to recruit people who were party activists as returning officers.
The Archbishop Duncan Williams has also been speaking about this. We can hear his take after listening to the former President John Mahama.
The masses, there is too much pain and suffering in this country. All our doctors and our nurses are leaving this country. And we just pray that things will be well handled and managed in transparency and fairness, that we will not end up being refugees in any other country, because without proper fairness and honesty and transparency, things may fall out of hand. And may I say this, that nobody should think that the Ghanaian is a very gentle, don't like trouble human being. It's not true, because I saw what happened 79 and 81, and they were Ghanaians. And some of the violence and the murderers and unrest in certain parts of this country, like what's going on in Boko and other places, they are all Ghanaians. And if we don't manage things well, and we have this mentality and thinking that any party can do whatever they want to do, and the Ghanaian will accept it, and the Ghanaian will live for it, you might be playing with fire, make no mistake. Because when people are desperate and are hungry, they don't care about what happens. And hungry and desperate people are very dangerous people to manage and to deal with. When demons come into town and possess people, then you will know that maybe you really didn't understand the Ghanaian, because when a demon enters a person, it doesn't care about your tribe or your citizenship. It rules you. So I think that, Mr. Former President, and to your party, we should be very aware of some of these things. I wouldn't want to say much, but I have a lot of questions I want to personally ask, and I believe that all the members of the clergy here have a lot of unanswered questions that we want to put to you to find and to have some answers so that we know how to educate our congregation in going forward.
Right, so it is just the build up to the December 7th general elections, and this I'll also be speaking to the communication officer of the NDC, Sabe Jemfi, here in the studio to deal with a lot of issues. But let's stay with elections and related matters. And now, the limited voter registration exercise is what is ongoing. The leader of the new force, Nana Kwame Bediako, has called on the Electoral Commission to extend the limited voter registration exercise to all polling centers in Ghana instead of the 1,053 registration centers that it is currently limited to. Nana Kwame Bediako, who refused to give the exact number of days the exercise should be extended to, says several would-be voters will be disenfranchised if the challenges that have so far characterized the exercise are not addressed.
I would like to bring this petition to the notice of the Electoral Commission, a governmental body to protect the right of the country's democratic rights. From the 7th of May to 27th of May, they have given us 20 days to practice our voting registration rights. And this, I have put a petition on behalf of the nation against it, asking the EC to reconsider this duration and extend the time for us. 27th of May, these practices is supposed to end. Making it exactly 20 days for 33 million people as a nation is certainly not enough, certainly impossible to make it right for a country. Now let's look at other countries like Europe.
General Secretary of the Opposition, NDC, Fifi Kwete, at a press conference on Thursday, chronicled events missing BVDs and errors in number of prospective voters captured in the ongoing limited registration exercise, and vowed scrutinize and reveal any endeavors by the Electoral Commission to in response did not mince words. Addressing the press conference on Friday, Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, described some of the allegations raised by the NDC as unfortunate. On the foremost allegation of attempt to steal the 2024 elections for the governing party, Deputy Chairman in charge of operations explained why it is impossible for the Commission to change the result of an election.
The Electoral Commission is in no position to rig the 2024 general elections for any party. The electoral process is transparent and contains all the necessary checks and participation of all stakeholders, especially the political parties, such that rigging an election in Ghana is impossible.
He explained that elections are rather won at the polling stations and urged the opposition party to channel their energies there.
If a political party has participated in all the above processes and has been able to collate results from all the 38,622 polling stations, their results should match the final results that the Electoral Commission would eventually declare. There is no loophole in the electoral process outlined above that can allow the Electoral Commission to rig the elections in favor of any party or candidate. Elections are won or lost at the polling station and not at the head office of the Electoral Commission. Parties should train their agents well to observe the process and not to blame the EC for the outcome of the elections.
On the issue of disenfranchisement of the people of Sao, Deputy Chairman in charge of operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, said the Commission would have violated the law if it had allowed the people of Likpe, Lolobi, Central Kofi, and Akpafu to vote.
If 2 districts were allowed to vote for 1 MP, that would violate the law, as the MP so elected will be a member of the 2 district assemblies whose voters elected the MP. When the 1 district was created out of the Jasikan district, as per legislative instrument 2416, by the operation of law, voters in the new Gwan district could not vote for an MP in the Buem constituency who is a member of the Jasikan District Assembly. Doing so would have violated Act 936. So
far, the Commission says it has registered over 300,000 prospective voters nationwide, representing some 63% of their projection.
All right, so this is your election headquarters, and of course this afternoon my guest is the communication officer with the National Democratic Congress, Sami Jemfi. Sami, you're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I mean, few issues before we get to some of the issues that we're going to talk about today: the Sunyani Airport, the Pwalugu Dam, the limited voter registration exercise, and how the NDC campaign is going. But just this afternoon, just some few minutes ago, we got 2 statements, one from the minority group in Parliament and one from the majority group in Parliament. It was about a meeting they had with President Akufo-Addo just an hour or 2 ago. Now, the NDC statement reads, at the invitation of the President, the leadership of Parliament were made up of both caucuses on Monday, met with President Akufo-Addo at the Presidency. The meeting, which lasted for about an hour, was cordial and frank. It discussed issues of national concern. The leadership of the minorities takes the opportunity to thank the President for the invitation. This is signed by Alato-Force, a minority leader. The MPP statement also reads, President Akufo-Addo on Monday met with the leadership of Parliament to discuss pertinent national issues. The issues discussed included recent impasse between the Presidency and Parliament, how best for the House to work harmoniously even though they come from different ideological backgrounds, amongst other important topics. The interactions were not only healthy but also fruitful, as both sides of the House aired their concerns about the raging issues affecting not only the legislature and the executive, but Ghanaians in its entirety. And they mentioned the names of those who were there: Alexander Fenyomaken, Alato-Force, the minority leader, and the entire leadership. The meeting with the leadership of Parliament by President Akufo-Addo is historic, since it is the first time in the Fourth Republic that a president has met with the leadership of both the majority and the minority. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I'm just coming from Parliament because the minority caucus had a press conference on a very serious issue that borders on the peace and stability of this country.
The claim is that some people have been recruited into the security forces.
Certain secret allocations have been made by the government of President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia to all MPs and PCs of the MPP, numbering 275. And they've given them slots of 30 each, 5 each for the security services. That is police, the military, immigration, fire service, and so on. And so every MPP parliamentary candidate has been allotted 30 slots.
Only MPP?
Yeah, protocol allocations done secretly, okay, for them. And we've gone wind of it, and today the minority caucus called a press conference to blow the alarm. The ranking member was there supporting the leadership to raise all the necessary issues, because this happened in 2020, and we saw the ramifications. We saw how thugs and hooligans belonging to the ruling MPP were clothed in security apparels at various collation and voting centers, intimidating innocent citizens, in some cases beating them, maiming some, and murdering 8 innocent Ghanaians. Those who committed those atrocities were military uniform-wearing thugs of the MPP.
Right.
They were MPP hooligans incorporated and clothed in the apparels of our respected security agencies. And that is why that unfortunate incident happened in 2020. It is the same reason why we had the Ayawaso West Wagon violence, okay? And it is something that we must do everything possible to prevent. And we think that this unbridled penchant of President Akufo-Addo, Alhaji Bawumia, and the MPP to bastardize our state agencies, drafting into them hooligans, hoodlums, and bandits belonging to their party, is totally unacceptable. It's a recipe for chaos. It must be stopped. And if they don't stop it, there will be resistance.
The issue about some of these allegations is that I don't know whether we are here to get details from the news conference, but did they provide the evidence to back this?
I mean, my brother, you know the Honorable James Agaga, you know the Honorable Minority Leader, Honorable Alato-Force. These are not people who just talk. How many times have you seen them call press conferences to say things which have turned out to be false? I mean, I'm sure you will even struggle to give me one incident. And these are people who have their sources in the security agencies. Because Honorable Agaga, for example, has been ranking member for a very long time for the Select Committee on Defense and Interior. The minority leader, from where he sits, has contacts in all the security agencies. And we say, this is what our intel shows. This is what they are doing. We don't have a problem if government wants to recruit people into the security agencies, but go through the laid-down procedure that has been used over the years under Kufuor, under Rawlings, under Tamils, under John Mahama. Publicize it, advertise it, let those who feel they are qualified apply, and go through the process openly.
So you are saying
and
that
select the best.
This is a secret recruitment?
This is secret recruitment. That is why nobody has heard of it. And since they took office, they have been at it. And it is one of the major disappointments that some of us have in this current IGP, that under him, the police recruits persons into the service without going through the normal lay-down procedure. You don't hear about it. All the recruitments are done secretly. We never heard of something like this under President Mahama, or under President Rawlings, or President Mills, or blessed memory, or even under President Kufuor. And you see, it is not just a one-off incident. It is a rate of it. The fact that it's being done repeatedly over and over again, and because we are quiet, they continue to do it.
So what are you demanding?
Saying that this...
Politicians are so proud about some of the achievements, and some of the achievements they always tell the electors how many people they were able to recruit into the police, military, and immigration, and the other security agencies. It become the yardstick. Some of them are measured.
Yes. Does Ghana need more soldiers? Yes. Do we need more officers in the various security agencies like fire service, immigration? Yes. Okay. And so our issue is not with the mere recruitment of citizens into these security services if they qualify. The issue has to do with the mode of the recruitment. The fact that it is being done in the dark, is being done secretly. And number two, the fact that it's being politicized in a very obscene partisan manner, where parliamentary candidates of the MPP are being given 30 slots each. And the plan, per our intelligence, is to use these 30 newly recruited MPP hoodlums who will be clothed in security apparel on the 7th of December 2024 to use them for election security purposes so that they can go about hounding, harassing, intimidating, beating, and murdering people like they did in 2020. Wow. And we are raising the alarms. We're saying this is unacceptable. We are calling on moral society to speak up, civil society, faith-based organization, and especially you, our friends in the media, you who are the fourth estate of the realm, to speak up, to make your voices heard so that we stop this. We can't stop it if we unite and speak against this, because this has the potential to undermine our democracy, which we collectively share. All right, so because I was there, I had a conversation with him, and so I knew about this meeting you spoke about. And it is a meeting that is commendable. It's good that the president, for the first time, decided to go on this route by inviting the leadership to have a conversation with them on a certain agenda of government before the House, which have stalled, over the years. It is also a meeting that the leadership of our party at the very top was consulted on, and leadership cleared and sanctioned. And so we knew that our leaders were going to be in that meeting, which we are told lasted for just about an hour. The minority leader tells me that the conversations were very fruitful and productive, that they had the opportunity to raise certain serious concerns they have about the governance of this country, particularly related to certain things before Parliament that I don't believe it will be proper for me to divulge. But their concerns were raised very forcefully. I'm told that concessions were made on the side of the president, and indication has been given that their concerns will be taken on board. And once that is done, I believe that the House can unite and move forward. What is required of the legislative arm. So nothing amiss, just the head of the executive engaging the leadership of the legislature. And I think it is something we must encourage.
And Parliament is coming back tomorrow for the next meeting. But again, on the matter of the recruitment of party faithfuls into security agencies, we will verify this, but that is the position, or that is what the minority is communicating to the public, that parliamentary candidates of the MPP, they've been given a quota to bring people to be recruited into the police, military, immigration. That is their claim, and we'll verify this as and when we can. But my guest this afternoon is Mr. Sami Gyamfi, Communication Officer with the NDC. So, Sami, few issues I need to pick your brains on. President Akufo-Addo last week forwarded a petition filed by Martin Amidu to the Chief Justice to, Martin Amidu is seeking the Chief Justice to impeach the Special Prosecutor, Kizia Jabe, and raising issues of procurement breaches, and other matters, about 6 of them. You are a lawyer, a member of the NDC. I've not heard a party speak on this matter. What is your take on what is happening now?
Well, we've not commented on this because, like many Ghanaians, we have given up on President Akufo-Addo, Alhaji Bawumia, and the MPP relative to the fight against corruption. Clearly, they're a basket case. Nothing can be done about this bunch of people. They only came to loot the state coffers, and they will stop at nothing, in fighting corruption fighters. That is what they have been at since 2017, fighting corruption fighters instead of fighting corruption. It is sad. It's a tragedy.
But this is going to the normal process. If the man is innocent, that will be established.
How many times have you seen people petition the president for the removal of certain office holders under Article 146? Are you not aware of several petitions that have been submitted to President Akufo-Addo for the removal of Jim Mensah? Are you not aware of similar petitions like that against the former Chief Justice?
Maybe they didn't find merit in it.
But the Constitution doesn't say the president should find merit in it. The Constitution makes him a mere conveyor belt. That once you receive the petition, forward it to the Chief Justice so that a prima facie determination can be made, on the basis of which the matter is then referred to a committee put together by the Chief Justice. The president has no determination to make in the matter. Yet, in the case of Jean Mensah, petitions upon petitions for her removal, none has been forwarded to the Chief Justice. Look at the alacrity, the lightning speed with which this particular petition for the removal of the special prosecutor has been forwarded to the Chief Justice.
But do you trust the judiciary to be impartial in this matter?
It should be obvious, even to the naive, that there is a conspiracy to remove the special prosecutor.
Because of what?
Because clearly they are not happy with the fact that he is not doing their bidding in witch hunting certain people that they would want him to witch hunt. And number 2, they are not comfortable in some of the cases he has taken up, some of the cases he has pursued. I mean, I can give you countless of examples. The reason why I, as an individual, and here I'm not speaking for the party, I have been quiet, is that the special prosecutor himself has not also helped himself.
How?
You understand? He has not helped himself. This cry-baby attitude of me ankonam, mini buafo, and all that, neither here nor there. Once you accepted the request by the president to serve in this capacity and swore an oath to do that work, this issue of Ameya Ankonam is neither here nor there. The office of the special prosecutor is a creature of statute backed by an act of parliament. You have your power spelled out. If they are frustrating you, speak up.
That's what he did. That's the reason why.
You speak up by saying,
no, but the point about
taking out institutions,
taking on some judges, accusing them of frustrating his work. And that's the reason why he's been hauled to answer for his crimes.
Mongering and the casting of innuendos and insinuations. No. I expected him to call out individuals and adduce his evidence, his basis for calling them out. That this person is being an obstacle, this person is being obstructive because of A, B, C, D. They can do whatever they want to do against you, but posterity will remember you well. Like posterity today remembers Yawo Dumelevo. We all know he was hounded out because he dared to take on the then senior minister and the entire government in relation to the Kroll Associate scandal. Today, everybody in Ghana knows why Yawo Dumelevo was sacked. And his removal has been determined by the apex court of the land, the Supreme Court, to be unconstitutional.
Right.
Even though he was removed as a villain, today he's a hero, and you will forever be remembered for that and celebrated. And who today can put their neck on the chopping block for the special prosecutor? Why is he being removed?
But again,
you see, the courage we expected to see on his part.
You are not getting that.
I'm sorry if I'm being too hard on him. But look, we expected him to fight corruption in line with the mandate he was given.
You think he's not doing that?
By the president.
Or not doing enough?
And also the law established. I think that he cowered into submission too easily. And he gave... You see, these people, when you're dealing with them, you need to let them know that you fear nothing. Either than that, you won't survive it. When they see a modicum of weakness on your part, they will finish you. And that is what they have seen in his part, and that is why they are all going after him. It is very sad. I feel pained. I get a sense that he may be really willing to put up a fight. And if we see that he's willing to put up a fight, we will join him.
But I mean,
and
you're a lawyer. You've gone through the six grounds upon which Martin Amidu is asking for his impeachment. You've gone through it. Some have said that, some are just...
I have not seen the full petition of Martin Amidu. A man I respect, okay? He himself has also been a victim of President Akufo-Addo, who he described as the mother serpent of corruption.
And he resigned.
When he sought to interfere in his corruption risk assessment into the Japa scandal. So he himself is a witness. As to why he has decided to bring this petition against his successor, only he knows. And I can only comment on the veracity of the grounds of his petition if I have the benefit of the petition. I have not seen the petition. I've only seen excerpts. I don't know what facts or evidence
that he may attach.
And more importantly, I've not heard the side of the special prosecutor. So it is something that we need to have a holistic view of when we are armed with all the necessary, information.
All right.
But what I can say for sure is that President Akufo, this is only feeding, Martin Amidu's petition is only feeding into a grand conspiracy by the president to remove Kisi Ejaben. You should be, I don't want to use certain words, but you should be very naive not to see that. The president has an agenda to get out of office anybody who dares to fight corruption under him. He did it against the former Auditor General Yao Dumilevo when one day they locked up his offices on the grounds that he had attained retirement age, only for the Supreme Court to say that that was wrong. That was unconstitutional. Okay? And he did that even in the case of investigative journalists who were engaged in anti-corruption investigations. He did it to Anas. He did it to Ameswali. Today, he's no longer part of the living. He was murdered in cold blood because a certain member of parliament belonging to the ruling party rose up in defense of the president and alleged that Ameswali and his counterpart Anas had set out to embarrass the president and to expose him in corrupt acts. And therefore, he was taking up the fight, okay, for and on behalf of the president to destroy Anas and Ameswali. In the process, he threatened them with harm and even death on networks in the same building. And we saw the results.
But again,
the reason for that impunity,
the motive,
the reason for that
has not been established. The AG says there's no evidence. The reason why the AG says there's no evidence.
You don't need
I'm saying that
in Ghana.
The AG says there's no evidence. That's the reason why for all these years they've not been able to prosecute or bring finality to this matter.
Which AG are you talking about?
The president at the media forum last week, gov't before Parliament. And the president at unless there is contrary evidence, and you can submit to help.
It's not about contrary evidence. The video clip is there. Whatever evidence you need. The video in Ghana here, threat of harm is a crime. It's a second-degree felony. Threat of harm. I'm not talking about the murder. The murder, you can say that there is no specific evidence that we have seen of probative value which connects the person who made the threat to the incident.
And that's the reason
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that the threat of harm alone constitutes a punishable offense under our laws. You need evidence to establish threat of harm.
But in this case, we are talking about murder.
No, you're not getting me.
No, I'm saying that in this
case, murder is one.
Exactly.
The murder is one offense. The threat of harm and threat of death are separate offenses.
I get it.
So if you don't have conclusive evidence on the murder aspect of this matter, what about the threat of harm? What about the threat of death? Which all constitutes criminal offenses.
Let's move to that story so that we
want to move now?
Yeah, so that we can exhaust. We have a lot to talk about this afternoon.
All right.
And as he was talking about the special prosecutor just issued a statement. The office announced last year that it was undertaking investigation into payroll fraud. That some people were on the payroll and taking money every month, yet for no work done. The SP just issued a statement saying that they've concluded their investigations and the finances there. We'll share that with you before we end the show this afternoon here on The Pulse. Sameja MV is my guest as we talk about a lot of issues. What is your concern with the renovated Sunyani airports?
Well, it is not only our concern. I believe it should be the concern of every well-meaning Ghanaian who is interested in the protection of the public purse.
Is it about poor work done or conflict of interest?
Corruption. You see, first of all, there is a principled issue, an issue of principle, an issue of consistency, an issue of the social contract that the ruling MPP, led by President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Alhaji Bawumia, have with the people of Ghana. You see, when politicians are soliciting for votes, when politicians are campaigning, they make all manner of promises. We all do. But the promises we make must matter to us when we are elected on the basis of those promises. Those promises form a social contract between you and the people. And when you break those promises, you are betraying the trust of the people. Right. You are demonstrating to the people that you cannot be trusted and that they made a mistake in voting for you. This is fundamental to the discussion on the Sunyani airport. Two things that Alhaji Bawumia and President Akufo-Addo made paramount in their campaign in 2016 was what? Number one, nepotism. You were in this country. You have been doing this work for ages. I knew you back in the day, even in Kumasi.
Right.
And so you heard the promises they made on nepotism. We will not run a family and friends government. My wife will not be distributing contracts. They made a fuss about contracts being awarded to companies owned by the brother of the then president, who had a well-established track record.
Ibrahim
Mahama. In the mining sector, not only in Ghana, but across Africa. His track record was there, sought after by the best mining firms in Ghana, like Gold Fields. The person who was mining for Gold Fields in Takwa and Damai, he was told that he could not work because his brother was president. When he was working way before his brother became president. When this man was even doing things for us for free, like dredging the Odo, at his own expense, he was bastardized by the NPP. That, hey, family and friends government, this, that, nepotism, this, that. We will not do that.
What is the connection to this Sunyani airport?
This Sunyani airport, if you check the website of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, and Paul Adomochi should listen and listen good.
In fact, we have this clip. We're going to play it back because he's reacted to
He should listen and listen good. Because see, if he spoke just as host of Good Evening Ghana, I would have ignored him. Because everybody knows that he's bastardized.
He's a board chair.
Because he's a board chair of Ghana Airport Company.
Right.
That is the only reason why I'm giving him attention. Okay? I respect him, but clearly I don't place any premium on what he says on that show. But because of his position as the board chair of Ghana Airport Company Limited, that is why I am saying he should pay attention. The man he speaks for, Alhaji Bawumia, and his wife berated President Mahama for giving contracts to a company owned by his brother back in the day. They promised not to run the family and friends government. I'll show you the stories. Okay? Now he comes, lots of contracts, not one, not two, not three, not four, are being given to a company owned by the brother of the vice president.
The claim is that he presented the lowest bid for the Sunyani airport.
That is a lie from the pit of hell. And I've dared him. This is Joy News. If he likes, he should come here for a debate and show me that bid. I've dared him anywhere. He can pick any platform of his choice, except that MPP Food Soldiers platform of his. Any platform of his choice. And let's go there. This contract was given to him just like that, without any bid. No bid. This was a sole source contract. So this claim about Amandi offered to do the job at a certain price is neither here nor there. What about that project is so special that the Ghana Airport Company decided to award a job through sole source and tell me? Because procurement in Ghana is governed by law.
Right.
Section 41 of the Public Procurement Law. And it spells out the basis for awarding contracts on sole sourcing. You only do sole sourcing when you require a certain exclusive expertise.
All right.
This job was just for the rehabilitation of an existing airport, which was going to ensure that the runway for the airport, which at the time was 1,280 meters, was extended to 1,400, meaning he was only adding 120 meters 120 meters is like from here to the other entrance.
To the runway.
To the runway.
So the contract.
It's like tiling.
So Samuel, one step after the other. So the contract was not to patch potholes.
No, I'm going to show that to you. We are coming gradually. So the part about the runway was an extension. It was what they call reconstruction and extension. Reconstruction. So if you look at the whole stretch, it was up to 1,400 meters. But only 1,280 was in good state.
Right.
So with regards to the runway, the remainder of 120 was in a bad state, which was what he was supposed to reconstruct. And then once that 120 is added to the 1,280 meters, you get 1,400. So it was a reconstruction. Then apart from that, there was a terminal. We all know the Sunyani Airport terminal, a small building.
Of course.
Which the Ghana Airport Company says he was supposed to do minimal renovation. And if you go, the minimal renovation is what has been done. There has not been any facelift to that building. Then there was the apron, okay, which is where the planes park, which he was supposed to do some renovation. That basically was patching of potholes.
Right.
You understand? Then there are a few connecting roads to the airport that he was supposed to resurface, not construct, but resurface. Resurface means chippings. That is it.
And he said that was done for free.
I don't know.
We'll listen
what
to him
is he talking about?
We'll listen to him briefly.
What is he talking about? Look, anybody watching me, Google. Because of this is just one-on-one.
Right.
I don't want to pause and now go on my phone to show you something. But just Google. Contractor on Sunyani Airport abandoned site. Google, 2021. When he was not being paid, he left the site. So if he was a Father Christmas, so rich that he can do things for free, like Pwalugu claims, why did he leave the site?
Let's pause here for just a second.
Listen. Let me just give you the cracks of the point.
Because I want to bring points so that we can continue.
Hold on. The cracks of the point is that, number one, you preach against nepotism, but here you are engaged in nepotism at this obscene level, heaping contracts upon contracts to a company owned by the brother of Alhaji Bawumia, the vice president. Number two, even if you were awarding the contracts to him lawfully, we won't have a problem. You are awarding the contract through sole sourcing when the law doesn't allow for sole sourcing. So the contracts are being awarded illegally. Then number three, the contract is being awarded at an inflated cost. Master, go to the Sunyani Airport today. I was raised in Sunyani.
So
go there and tell me whether the works you see there, it is justified for somebody to tell you that the airport company spent 52.5 million cedis on those works. 525 billion old Ghana cedis for what? That Pentimamento building they call a terminal? Or that 120 meters. You know 120 meters?
Right,
of reconstruction and extension of a runway and a so-called repair of an apron, which was basically the patching of potholes. 52.5 million. And that is why we, to give you a pictorial demonstration of the lack of value money in that project, we decided to compare it to the ultra-modern, brand new whole airport President Mahama built at $25 million. Look at the runway, 1,900 meters.
Not
120 meters.
Sammy, just
look
1 second. So that we
at
can,
all those things and compare it to the price.
I'll come back to you on this matter. Folks, but Paul Adonwachi has been reacting to this particular matter on the show. We thought it necessary to bring it in so we are not getting directly to respond to the Sammy Jemfim. Here is his response to the allegation that the contract was overpriced and the scope of work that was undertaken by the brother of the vice president, Dr. Mahama Bawumia. Take a listen.
Anyway, let's get to the facts of Sunyani Airport. This is by no means a response from GACL. It's my own response because I have information on the matter. Now, Sunyani Airport was closed down in 2016 for some whatever reason. It wasn't working. It was closed down. It needed to be reconstructed with a lot of money. Now, Ibrahim Bawumia, the records will show, and anybody can use an RTI application to check. Where are they? The RTI gods. Fourth estate people, right to airports. They will tell you the information. Check. There was a contractor who was about to start the job. Ibrahim Bawumia demonstrated that he can do the job cheaper by something like 10 million or so, very wide margin, that he can still finish the job cheaper and finish in good time. So it was awarded to him. And then this is the Sunyani Airport today. Now, this is what it looks like. This wasn't there in 2016. It is now there. This photograph, come to the touch screen, let me show them properly. This photograph, it wasn't there. This infrastructure, it wasn't there. It is now there. It has been created by the guy who got the contract, Ibrahim Baumia and his engineering company. And they did it for cheaper. I don't even know whether they have been paid completely up till now. But the airport has opened and a Passion Air flies to Sunyani every day. Where from this allegation that he went to repair potholes? Really, Sami Jemfi, you can say that the guy went to report potholes. He put potholes in Sunyani Airport and they gave him money. If it was just about potholes, why didn't people fly there in 2017, 18, 19? You were in power in 2016. You closed down the airport. So you are telling the Ghanaian people that it was just about potholes. That's why you closed down the airport? That the Sunyani Airport was closed down because of potholes. And somebody came to do the potholes and now planes are flying there. I mean, what are you telling Ghanaians, Samiji? What are you telling Ghanaians? What you are saying is making President Mahama look bad. And that's what always hurts me. You people say things that make President Mahama look bad. So President Mahama was sitting down as president, and because of potholes, he closed down Sunyani Airport. No president will do that. Why? President Mahama, is he not a Ghanaian? Has he got a heart for Ghanaians? The airport was closed down for fundamental infrastructure deficit. Fundamental and extensive infrastructural deficit. That's why the airport was closed down, not potholes. Sami Jemfi, hello? It's not potholes. What are you talking about, potholes? Okay, let's see what work was done. Okay, so this is there. Okay, this is it. Is that potholes? This looks like repairing potholes, Sami Jemfi. This, you see, the photograph. Thank God for Japan, who gave us photographs. Japanese people, they gave us Koka, what is it called? The camera. The first camera that came. A Koda. And now we can do photographs. Sami Jemfi, this is not potholes. Look at it well. It's not potholes. And maybe he's not watching. Maybe he's tired. He's been campaigning, so maybe he's tired. Or he's having a meeting in Fifi. So those who are watching, please tell him. This is not potholes. This is not. Look at this. Is this potholes? Is this potholes that they are repairing? Is this potholes? Look at the runway. Why? Now runway too, they don't understand it. This is runway. This is not potholes. So this is proper work. This is proper engineering work. And this young man, because of his brother's relationship with the government, decided to do it for cheaper. He said he would do it for cheaper. And it cost him money. At some of this, he used his own money. In fact, at some point, he told the airport that I'll use my own money to do the side issues. You don't worry. You just pay me. Let me do the main one. Because Sunyani is important for the northern. You know that. Tamale Airport has been done. But there are a lot of Kintampo and those places. There are a lot of northerners there. And Sunyani Airport is so strategic for them. As soon as President Akufo-Addo opened it or reopened it, if you like, and the flights started going there. They didn't start going there every day. They started twice a week, thrice a week, 4 times a week. Now every day, it means that the business in Sunyani is growing. That's what it means. And the people of Sunyani are very grateful for the airport. I have since flown to Sunyani so many times. People have opened businesses there because they can go there very quickly. Then you sit on radio or television, because it's election year, let's go and look for Dr. Baumia's brother and say that Dr. Baumia's brother is corrupt. But what has he done? He went to fill potholes in Sunyani Airport and people paid him. This is below the belt, Sami Jemfi. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. We know people who have done things that we can talk about, but it's not important. The important thing is the people on the campaign. Dr. Baumia, John Mahama. Dr. Baumia, John Mahama. NPP, NDC. Let's deal with it. If you think there's a contractual faux pas somewhere, report it that this contract is wrong. There are many ways of doing it. You can you can do an RTI request. You can do many things in Ghana today to find out information and extract information by force. It didn't used to be there. So please, this airport in Sunyani, look at this. Is that filling potholes, Sami Jemfi? Is this filling potholes? Look at all this work. This is Sunyani Airport before we were able to take a plane there. This is it. And you say that this one is potholes, that the guy went to fill potholes. Please, please, please. I'm sure that in due time, the Ghana Airport Company will come out with a substantial release and give the general public all the information from the time of the tender to the bidding to how Ibrahim Baumia came in and did the contract at a much lower cost, how he spent time using his own money to do some of the side issues, and how eventually we were able to get planes flying to our beloved Sunyani Airport.
So that's Paul Adomachre, courtesy his show, Good Evening Ghana. And the reason why we brought him on the show is that he's a board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company, and he had a direct response for Sami Jemfi. Fortunately, Sami Jemfi is in the studio. Sami, you've heard him. I mean, how do you respond to the various issues that he raised?
Well, a little comic relief is helpful sometimes, you know. Without comedians like this, the pressure in Accra can kill you. So sometimes it's good to watch some of these things. And
don't you think calling him comedian is just too harsh?
This is comedy.
No, that is his response. This is the board chair of the company.
Did you used to watch Kisub Concert Party?
Yeah.
What you saw was very similar, you know. But let's for the purpose of those watching, let's just set the record straight. Number one, he said that...
He said it was a bidding process.
Hold on. He said that building, which is there, which is on the screen, people can see it. Okay, it's behind us. This terminal building was not there. Pwalugu, does he know Sunyani? I was born and raised in Sunyani. I schooled...
Same as I.
Yeah, so you can tell me if I'm wrong. I schooled at Sacred Heart JSS. I completed St. James Seminary before I went to KNUST for my first degree. We used to play in this neighborhood.
Right.
This building has been there for ages.
That is absolutely true.
So if Pwalugu says that he bought Chama...
But it's been renovated.
Yes. And that is exactly what I said. Minimal renovation. I'm going to read that to you. So if he comes on TV to say that Chama, this was not there, this building was not there, clearly you know that this guy is a liar. He's not only a comedian, he's a liar. Now, common sense, let's settle it. Let's not just expect viewers to rely on our personal experience as people who have been raised in Sunyani, right? So let's settle it. Go to the website of Ghana Airport Company, just type Sunyani Airports commissioned, and you will see a story. The relevant, the story reads, in March 2018, the operations of the Sunyani Airport were halted. Now it says the Ghana Airport Company Limited commenced rehabilitation works at the cost of 52.25 million cedis on October 25, 2019. Now it continues that the completed project works encompasses the reconstruction and extension of the existing 1,280 meter runway to 1,400 meters, paved and grooved to ensure safe aircraft operations. It also includes rehabilitation of existing taxi link, rehabilitation and upgrade of existing apron, resurfacing of internal roads, minimal renovation of the existing terminal building. This is what I wanted to read.
Right.
So he lied when he said this didn't exist. And Elton, this building existed in the same form, even though it is real. That is why the airport company were careful to say minimal renovation.
Right.
No facelift has been done the building. Check pictures of Sunyani Airport back in the days. In stories published in 2016, 2015, you will see the same building. So the renovation, basically painting the new chairs they have in there. And if you keep on reading, they tell you some of the things they have brought there. The terminal building has been fitted with a PA system. Okay, when they say minimal renovation, that's what they are talking about, PA system. Flight information display screens, those TV screens we see at the airports, okay? Closed circuit television, CCTV. Fire detection and protection system, lighting, ventilation system, sewage disposal, water storage, distribution of terminal operations. That is a minimal thing, no facelift. So he lied, number one. Number two, he says, the project was for fundamental infrastructure, okay? The deficit of which led to the close down of the airport, blah, blah, blah. Now, the story I read, this is from Ghana Airport Company Limited's website, also defines for you the work that Pwalugu calls fundamental infrastructure, okay? And nobody is saying that those works are not important. We are saying that those are not works which are supposed to be so sourced to any contractor in Ghana. Because they are works that the expertise for exists in abundance. If you want to extend a runway, what are you doing? Asphalt road. There are thousands of contractors who can do that. Okay? If you want to repair a taxi link, okay, we all know the taxi link of an airport. That is that road, if I can put it that way, for the want of a better word, that the plane moves on gradually before it takes off, slowly before it takes off. It taxis on before it takes off. They say rehabilitation, meaning it was there. It was in a bad state, including potholes. Potholes had to be patched. and it dressed nicely. That is what was done. If you want to do these works, tell me what element of this work requires resources.
But he makes the point that there were other bidders.
It was not. It is not true.
And the brother of the vice president had the lowest.
It is not
the reason
true.
why he won
it is not
the
true.
contract.
I'm telling you, there was no bid. So right now, send
He's
your
challenging
reporter.
the airport company to bring.
And it's
the
been
examples.
1 week. He did his program, I believe, on Thursday. Okay,
right.
Almost a week, not a week yet, but a few days. Send your reporter to the managing director. He has been warned by Shraj to stop interfering in the affairs of Ghana.
Who will do that?
You know, in the procurement of the Christmas tree, that inflated cost Christmas tree. How can this man, whose hands are dirty himself, has breached the public procurement law, you know, in the procurement of a mere Christmas tree? How can he be advising us and be talking, be lecturing in any serious country on procurement law? I mean, clearly, it's something.
Let's quickly wrap up on the airport so that we can deal with some because of time.
So,
because of time.
In terms of the work that he calls fundamental, let me read it again for emphasis. The completed project works encompasses the reconstruction and extension of the existing 1,280 meter runway to 1,400 meters. What is that?
120
120.
meters.
And bear in mind, this is not construction. See, it's reconstruction, meaning it was there. But it had deteriorated. So it had to be reconstructed and added to the 1,280 meter runway, which was in good shape, so that you have 1,400. That is what it means. Okay. Then paved and grooved to ensure safe aircraft operations. It also includes rehabilitation of existing rehabilitation of taxi link. Doesn't it include patching of potholes?
Right.
He doesn't understand rehabilitation of a taxi link. When you go to any airport and there are potholes, what do? Is it not rehabilitation?
I don't include terms.
The Sunyani airport taxi link, what was the problem with it? It was potholes. The Sunyani airport taxi link, and even the apron, the problem was potholes. Does he know Sunyani better than me? What is he talking about? let me continue. Then it says what? Resurfacing of internal roads. Is that the resurfacing of roads?
Internal roads.
The Sunyani airport roads said that one yesterday.
It's just one. As far
So
as
resurfacing, is the extraordinary thing that only Bawomia's brother can do, for which reason this contract must be so sourced to him at a colossal cost of 52.5 million cedis. Wow, did he use diamonds and gold for the road?
Well, Paul says that there were other bidders.
Did he use diamond for the runway?
And Dr. Bawomia's brother had the lowest. We'll verify this. We'll fact check this.
And bring that check.
And
Please extend an invitation to him. As for that station, he can go there and say anything and get away with. He should come here. Let us be hosted by Elton John Broby. If he doesn't want an English show, let's go on Asempa. Let's sit, and he should bring his documents, his board chairman, and show us what Bawomia's brother did for free for Ghana. One CD. Look, this is a story, just briefly before we go. Google it. Works at Sunyani Airport abandoned again. Emphasis on again. Work at Sunyani Airport abandoned again as government fails to pay contractor. Story by Richard Obin Bediako, published by Modern Ghana on the 21st of June 2021. Says the ongoing rehabilitation works at the Sunyani Airport in the Brno region has been abandoned again. Resource Access Limited, the contractor working on the expansion of the runway, has not been paid for several months by the government of Ghana. They create an impression that this man is some father. Where was he before his brother became vice president? That today he's being given cocoa rows. You saw the publications by Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa. And the Auditor General says in his performance audits on cocoa rows that those projects had no value for money in them, and that the state spent thrice as much what it spent on road contracts, similar road contracts, awarded through competitive tendering. Because these contracts were awarded, including the ones that went to the company owned by Bawomia's brother, through sourcing unlawfully. We lost 2 times. Think about it. 2 times. So if the guy can do the work, we don't have a problem. I am not an MPP person who will say that Bawomia's brother should not eat or should not do business. If he's qualified for the job, give it to him. But open it up. If it is resurfacing of roads or a rehabilitation of a taxi link, open it up.
All right.
Let others compete.
All right.
Let the lowest bid and the best bid win. What is so difficult about this that Paul Adomoche cannot understand? Well, the man even thinks that Christmas trees should be so sourced.
Let's make
How can he
progress.
agree with us when we are talking about important projects like this? You know, I am telling you that if this project went through competitive tendering, we wouldn't have needed 52.5 million.
All right.
To do it.
Let's make
far
progress.
lower, it would have saved the nation money, and we could have used that for productive investments.
Let's make progress. And Paul says that the airport company will respond to this. He makes the point that there were other bidders.
How many hours do they need
the
to
vice
respond?
president brother had the lowest. We'll wait and fact check all
How
of that.
many hours?
If that information is made
And
available
by the way,
to us.
let the Ghana Cocoa Board also respond. The Auditor General of Ghana, not Sami Jenfi, says that the Cocoa Road projects, which have been awarded through sole sourcing, cost this nation twice and in some cases 3 times what we needed to actually spend. And 2 of these projects have been awarded to Bawomia's Brothers Resource Access Limited, worth 83 million cedis. We are talking about 830 billion cedis. And this is the verdict of the Auditor General. Maybe Paul Adomotri or Ghana Cocoa Board should also respond to that.
Sami Jenfi is my guest on the show. He's the communication officer with the NDC. So, Sami, I mean, we are almost about wrapping up. 2 very important issues I wanted us to pick on is the Pwalugu Dam. The vice president visited the place. He says the project is very important to government, and they will ensure that it is done so that it will serve the purpose upon which so much money had gone into it. Your talks on it, and then we can also wrap up on the limited voter registration exercise. The Electoral Commission posted figures after the 11. Few hours later, they posted on their social media, noted the figures for Greater Accra was wrongly repeated for Upper East on the slide of challenge cases and other slides. The commission, they say that they met with their team responsible for developing the infograph and made significant changes. In addition, more rigorous methods will be instituted going forward. And we've had issues with the way the EC has not been consistent and accurate in the posting of figures regarding the limited voter registration exercise. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, let me start with Pwalugu. I would say we need to rise up in this country. The negativity of state resources is becoming too much. And if we don't take care, the country that we will be living for our children and their children's children will be one that will be very bankrupt and will have very little opportunity for the next generation. Because everything we can invest today for the benefit of tomorrow is being wasted, is being stolen by a few select people in office. And that is the story, the sad story of the Pwalugu Dam. It shows how dishonest, hypocritical, duplicitous Alhaji Bawumia is. This is a man who in 2020, before the elections, he was interviewed on Asempa FM in the same building by your colleague, Philip Osebos, on the Kusise. He was asked a direct question. I'm sure you've seen the video.
Right.
What do you consider as your major achievement in the northern part of Ghana? Because you are a northerner, and you are saying northerners should vote for you because you have their interests at heart better than the NDC. So tell us what you've done for them. He says, the biggest investment we have done for the people of the north is a Pwalugu multipurpose dam. He said they have done it. He didn't say they were doing it. And he went on and on and on and spoke about how all successive governments had spoken about it, but had paid lip service to the project.
Wasn't it after the sword cutting ceremony?
Yes,
for the
and
project
they said they had done it. No, it was not immediately after. This was 2020. The sword cutting was in November of 2019. So he said they had done it. Okay, and bragged about it and even berated the former president that this is not like a confirmed project and blah, blah, blah. Master, how many years down the line? The project was supposed to be completed in 4 years. The whole project, worth almost $1 billion.
Right.
We're talking about the dam pad for irrigation.
And we're told that funding will come from internal sources.
Bro, you know what has happened?
No.
It's been 4 years already. Nothing has happened on the site.
In fact, we got our correspondent in the upper East region, Abesori. He felt filed a report on this matter. 2 years after the sword cutting ceremony, and nothing had been done then. So after the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament met with the governor of the Bank of Ghana, and the information came through that the Bank of Ghana actually paid $11 million more to the contractor. We went back to the project, and then from what Albert Soy reports to us, no such project by the said name exists today was ever existed in Pwalugu. I started the production of my documentary on Pwalugu multipurpose dam in July and August 2022. In that time, I visited Pwalugu at least 3 times, researching and speaking to the people. The documentary aired in September 22, and it showed clearly that absolutely nothing tangible about the dam existed in Pwalugu. In fact, the people of Pwalugu said in the documentary that it was made clear to them that nothing about the project was going to be situated in that community. Bro. This is Albert Soy's independent
so this
work
is the verdict of Joy News. So whatever Sami Jenfi said, hold on.
Economic challenges facing the country.
Whatever Sami Jenfi said was the truth. You're talking about economic challenges. They have carried our money, our taxes, in this time of suffering and hardships. See, sometimes when I'm talking about these things, I get emotional. It is painful to see the number of young people who have completed school with no jobs, right? People wake up in the morning in this country without knowing where the next meal will come from. The hardship in Ghana, and yet taxes upon taxes have been heaped on us. And when we pay these taxes, expecting our leaders to invest them wisely for our benefit, they carry $12 million of that, equivalent to some 1.6 trillion OCDs, and gives it to a contractor for no work done. Not even a single block has been laid there. Listen, we are not talking about $1 million, $2 million. We are talking about $12 million. The Agenda 111 hospitals, which they say is $1 million, it can build 12. That's what we are talking about here. It can build dozens of schools. It can create jobs. Nursing, the nurses and midwives, trainees who have graduated, 75,000 of them, sitting at home for years with no employment opportunity. Because government says we don't have money to pay you, no financial clearance. The trained teachers, the same thing. And you dash out money like that because they will go back and go and share the booty with their collaborators in that company.
But shouldn't we be more interested in getting the contractor to work if he's taking the
me and you should be interested.
Of course.
Me and you.
Of course.
What can we do?
The same thing we are doing. The advocacy we are doing.
The advocacy, but beyond advocacy, who must act? Outside, you're doing your part. And let me comment multimedia on this. I've seen your, it is not even like a report, like a documentary.
It was a documentary that was done.
You understand? You are raising it. Now everybody has become fatigued and numbed. When you talk about corruption, nobody blinks. $12 million. Imagine President Mahama paying a company $12 million for no work done. And the company is not even in Ghana. They have left Ghana. How much is he going to do? And the president doesn't care. Bawumia, who fronted the project and bragged about it, made noise about it, he doesn't care.
But he says he will ensure that it is done.
He doesn't even care that his own chief, the overlord of the Mamprugus is not even a mere chief. We are talking about the king, the Nairi himself. He doesn't even care that this revered chief was at the sword cutting. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that he has deceived his own chiefs. 80% of this project is in his own backyard. So when I see people celebrating happy that Bawumia came to our constituency, he promised us this, he promised us a road, I laugh. This man does not even care, deceiving his own chief, his own people, his own kindred. And you think that the promises he's making to you today,
his vice president, he's been to become president. He said that when I become president, I'll make sure this is done.
This was done. But he told us that he had done it. No. Let's pause.
I wanted us to go to limited so that I can let you go.
No, just 1 second. Let somebody reflect on it. The man who is saying he would do it, he told you he had done it. You will now believe him that he will do what he has already done. Please.
All right, so before you go, limited voter registration exercise, the NDC, you've had issues with the EC. You viewed every step taken by the EC with suspicion.
Not suspicion, but with vigilance. That should be the word. Because we simply cannot trust the Jimensa Bosman-Asare-led Electoral Commission. These are the group of people who supervised the 2020 election, declared results that if you added the percentages of the candidates, you got more than 100, and yet those results were expressed as percentages. Only Jimensa and Bosman-Asare has more than 100%. You understand? These are the people we are talking about. These are the people who, even after they issued a statement to correct that unconstitutional and flawed presidential results declaration, still, the so-called corrected results still didn't add up. So they have that track record of manipulating elections. Unfortunately, when it was time for her to be accountable, face the music, be cross-examined, and her service, measured, judged, she absconded. And she was given a shield by the judiciary. You remember how
was also
she
within,
escaped from cross-examination and even decided not to testify.
And it was also within her right to do so.
But we, like Azuma Nelson used to say, are going into the 2024 election with our referee in our pockets. Because we know that this referee is part of our opponent's team. The referee is the number 12 for our opponent, we know. And so we want to play by the rules. We are not going to cheat, and so we don't expect to be cheated. And that is why, right from the get-go, we are being vigilant. We've trained our agents at all levels to be vigilant and ensure that the right thing is done. And look at the things we are finding out. Look at the things. Elton, look, are you not amazed? Or should I say amused?
But yet
that you have an electoral management body of a country like Ghana. A registration exercise is going on. They've been making publications of the number of people who have been registered vis-a-vis those who have been challenged. And repeatedly, consistently, you see errors that P6 students will not make. P6 students who have the benefit of a calculator can punch 1 + 1 and get 2. Even if Utiewua, you have a calculator. But you see, if it was a one-off thing, you would have said, look, they are human beings. They also make mistakes. These are provisional figures, right? But we are talking about consistent errors.
And they say
they make the error. It is on their website. They don't see it. We see it. We raise the alarm. When they see that they cannot cover up, sometimes they delete, but we keep the screenshots. When they see that they can't cover up, they issue statements to correct. And in the correctional statements, they commit more errors. Massa. What is happening in this country?
They say that they are not ashamed to admit their errors, and what they are doing is to engender
so you are not ashamed.
Greater transparency.
Okay, so you are not ashamed to admit your error, which is good to accept correction.
Right.
But you cannot be making the same mistakes over and over again, and your excuse is that I'm not ashamed to admit my errors.
They said they have taken some steps.
So when will it
they can only measure them by the next figures that they will put out.
But only yesterday, haven't you seen? This morning they've corrected.
And I'm saying that they issued a statement.
And in the corrected one they brought today, they have made mistakes again. Today. Nah. Elton, today. So look, election management is not like you doing something privately and you say, I've made a mistake, so I'm accepting correction. Look, in certain jurisdictions, the declaration of false figures have led to wars.
Right.
You see, elections are not
it was the very reason we're in court in 2020.
Exactly. Are events that ordinarily or usually generate tension. So if you are the electoral management body, nobody has put a gun to your head to publish figures at a certain time. Take your time. Go through the figures. If you don't have any ulterior motive, that is assuming the mistakes are genuine. Because I don't believe that this consistent trend of errors is genuine. I don't believe so. They thought that somebody was not watching. They thought that they could get away with it. So if we are not found out, would they themselves, would they have... So, Srebo Kweku, director of election, they are all telling us that they can't do 1 + 1. G-Mensa can't do simple arithmetics. Those PR people, they don't have a calculator. I don't understand this. This thing, it is mind-boggling. Simply incredible. And when it happened the first time, I didn't talk. The elections directory raised the issue. I'm like, oh, human beings can make mistakes. It happened the second time. It happened the third time. No. This is not a mere coincidence. It cannot be mere errors. No. They are up to something. But we are watching. They can never get away with even +1 or -1, which is done erroneously. So we are saying that don't always make the mistake and come and tell us that, oh, I'm a listening easy. No. Certain mistakes are preventable. If you are competent, as you ought to be, certain mistakes need not be made at all. Either than that, it also, if you like, it damages the reputation of the... Who will take our electoral management seriously when they can't do 1 + 1?
All right, Sammy.
It doesn't help. And it also raises avoidable suspicion. I won't say needless, but avoidable suspicion.
Right.
Okay, and so they should end this practice now and make sure that it doesn't continue into 7th December.
Okay.
Because we are not going to allow it. They will be caught pants down as we are catching them, and kudos to the Elections Directorate led by my good brother, Dr. Manebo Ahmad. They are doing a yeoman's job, and we're calling on all Ghanaians to be vigilant. All our polling agents and executives to be vigilant, because this particular electoral commission, you can't trust them. I've seen them say that elections cannot be rigged in Ghana, really. But once upon a time, Akufo-Addo told us that elections were rigged in Ghana, right? They should say that to the Marines. We are going into this election with our referee in our pockets, and we know that if all of us exercise the right vigilance, the will of the people, let's press at the ballot,
will come to pass. All right, Sammy Jemfi has been my guest on the pause here on Joy. He's the communication officer with the NDC, and we've gone into a lot of issues. We'll take a short break.
Please remember to invite Paul Adomocho.
Of course, yeah? we'll have that contest.
Let it be on record. Invite him and invite me, and also send your reporters to the management of Ghana Airport Company to find out whether this contractor has done something for free for them. They should give us the bills.
We'll do that.
So that we can all go and thank him.
All right, we'll do that. We'll take a short break. When we return, the Trade Union Congress is demanding the Finance Ministry cancel an attempt to sell off 60% of its interest in some hotels to the Food and Agricultural Minister, Brian Acham. We have details for you after the short break. Stay right there. This is The Pulse. And we are back on The Pulse with me, Elton Brobe. Now let me take you to the corridors of trade union, because the TUC is demanding Finance Ministry cancel an attempt to sell off 60% of its interest in some hotels to the Food and Agricultural Minister, Brian Acham. The Social Security and Insurance Trust has denied any foul play in its decision to sell 60% stake in its hotels to Rock City Hotels. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, the Member of Parliament for Northton, has lodged a formal petition with the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Raj, to investigate allegations surrounding the sale of the 6 hotels, alleging conflict of interest, abuse of power, and lack of due process. Secretary General of TUC, Dr. Yaba, at a news conference a while ago, described the entire sale as fishy.
Meeting held today, 20th May 2024. The workers' representatives on the Board of Trustees of SNIT briefed the top leadership of organized labor about the proposed sale of 60% of SNIT's interest in some hotels. The workers' representatives informed the leadership that they had collectively raised objections to the process and had advised that the process be halted. We in organized labor find it extremely difficult to understand why, first, SNIT's interest in 6 hotels will be packaged and sold as if all the hotels are in the same financial situation. 2, we find it difficult to understand why the original proposer of the sale of SNIT's interest in 6 hotels has now reduced to 4. We hold the view that this renders the whole process null and void. And 3, we find it difficult to understand why the proposed payment terms varied from the original MOU based on the recommendations of the transaction advisor. We also find it difficult to understand why SNIT's interest in these hotels should be sold to a company owned by a minister of state. We do not think that this is right. Organized labor, therefore, demands that the process of the sale of SNIT's interest in the hotels be cancelled immediately. We are also calling on the Minister for Employment, Labor Relations, who is also responsible for pensions, to direct the Board of Trustees of SNIT to cancel the process immediately. Otherwise, we will advise ourselves.
Well, the Executive Secretary of CLOCSAC, Dr. Pwalugu, is threatening demonstration against government if the sale is not halted.
These funds are not government funds. These funds are pension funds. and pensions are guarded by the Act 766. We have investment guidelines under Act 766. And clearly, these guidelines have not been followed. Government should be aware that we will not allow them to play chaskele with our funds. Should they dare go ahead, it will be the mother of all strikes in Ghana.
But the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, has denied any foul play in a decision to sell a 60% stake in its hotel, Rock City Hotel, owned by the Food and Agricultural Minister, Brian Champom. On the screen now is a copy of a statement released by SNIT early this morning, and we're going to share that with you pretty soon so that you can understand what SNIT is communicating to the general public regarding the sale of 60% of their interest in some selected hotels to the Food and Agriculture Minister, Bernard Champo, who is also the owner of Rock City here. And the SNIT statement, that is what you have on your screens right now. And that's what you have on your screen right now. And I guess you can do for yourself. The trust is seeking to partner a strategic investor to raise capital to invest in the hotels and also assist in their management. The primary objective, according to SNIT, of finding a strategic investor is to increase efficiency, profitability, shareholder value, and the long-term sustainability of the SNIT pension scheme. Those are the reasons there. It said the trust commenced the process with the engagement of a transactional advisor through the ICT method of procurement, with publication of advertisements in the Daily Graphic on 14th November 2018. That's like 6 years ago. And the Ghanaian Times on 15th November 2018. The advertisement was also published in an international magazine, The Economist, in January 5th to 11th of 2019, 5 years ago edition. And I mean, they've traveled this road, and as of January 2019 deadline, 15 firms had expressed interest in submitting bids. Of these, 6 were shortlisted and issued a request for proposal, that's document. And according to SNIT, approval was sought from the Central Tender Review Committee for the selection of a transaction advisor on December 12, 2019, and that was granted on December 24, 2019, against 5 years ago. So following the selection of the independent transaction advisor to guide the selection of a strategic investor, among others, further advertisement for an expression of interest for a strategic partner for SNIT hotels were placed in the Daily Graphic on February 3rd, 2022, that's 2 years ago, and the Ghanaian Times on the 7th of February, 2022. And the advertisement was also published in the Economist magazine on the 26th of February, 2022. That's like 2 years, more than 2 years ago. And so a total of 9 companies responded to the advertisement by submitting proposals on 23rd of March, 2022. Deadline, 6 out of the 9 were then shortlisted and issued a request for proposal document. The qualifying firms were invited for the opening of their financial proposal. Based on a technical and financial evaluation, Rock City Hotel emerged the best out of the 6 companies that went through the final stage of selection. And based on the criteria set out in the RFP, Rock City Hotel submitted the best and strongest technical and financial proposal amongst those received. So it is in negotiation with SNIT, according to the statement, to buy a 60% stake in each of the 4 hotels: Labadi Beach Hotel, Lapan Royal Beach Hotel, Lapan Royal Beach Resort, Rich Royal Hotel in Cape Coast, and Elmina Beach Resort. Bids for Busia Beach Resort and the Trust Lodge were considered to be unsuccessful. So they are no longer part of the hotels covered in this process. So out of the 6, only 4 are up for sale, according to the statement issued by us. And the process of getting a strategic investor is in its final stages and therefore not yet concluded. That's according to STEP. Given the impending investigation by Straj, management of SNIT will not comment further. SNIT will cooperate fully with Straj throughout its investigation process. And again, it's instructive to note that SNIT says that the process of getting a strategic investor is in its final stages and therefore not yet concluded, meaning Rock City may not have won the bid as is being communicated. So that's the statement that came from SNIT. The Northton MP, Samuel Blakwa, would have none of it. He wants President Akufo-Addo to step in and stop the sale from going through. He earlier spoke to my colleague, Faustina Safo, on Newsdesk.
Fails to address the issue of how Rock City was selected. You cannot just claim that Rock City presented the best financial and technical proposals, and all the other 14 were not qualified. Where is the evidence? SNIT does not provide the evidence. If you look at their own statement, they say that they started this procurement process in November 2018. They are silent on what happens to the deal. So it is clear that if we all, and the Ghanaian people, and you see, I keep saying we are not angry enough. If we don't rise up, if organized labor, the people who work in these hotels, who are about to lose their jobs, if they don't rise up and make sure that SNIT does not go ahead and finalize this deal, it will become very difficult to reverse. That is why I promptly, last Friday, went to SHRAT. So I'm hoping that SHRAT itself will act expeditiously. I'm also hoping that President Akufo-Addo himself, these are his appointees. Those who are selling, the one buying, they are all his appointees. President Akufo-Addo told us that those who want to do business, who want to make money, they should stay in the private sector. What does the president say about people violating that warning that he gave to his own appointees? His agreed minister is here, not in the private sector, right in government, in cabinet, doing business, taking over hotels that belong to the people of Ghana. And President Akufo-Addo is quiet. Why is President Akufo-Addo quiet? When his own appointees are violating his directive, that if you want to do business, if you want to make money, stay in the private sector. Your own agreed minister has violated Article 78, Article 98 of the Constitution. Brazenly doing business, conflict of interest business, and you are looking on. What kind of president is this?
And before we go, government is racing against time to avert a nationwide industrial action by medical laboratory workers as the Labour Commission directs the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to begin negotiation with the Medical Laboratory Workers Union, who have threatened to withdraw their services should the government fail to address their concerns about the conditions of service. But what are their concerns? First, Vice Chair of the Medical Laboratory Workers Union, Dr. Franklin Niamate, explains.
The workspace have changed significantly. You reckon that COVID came to the fore, and as a country, you saw how we were saddled because we were not prepared. And so things like this would feature strongly in the conditions of service in terms of giving us good equipment to work with. So it is not just about allowances as in the bread and butter issues that we are talking about, but we are talking about even the work environment. You know, we work in a very hazardous environment. And so when we need things that will, you know, protect us in the work environment, we shouldn't be taking those things for granted at all.
Those things were part of the petition you sent us far back.
Of course, they are all part of the proposal.
You have been in different meetings even before now because the Labour Commission has directed the Fair Wages Commission to meet with you tomorrow. What are your expectations in this meeting?
It is our expectation as law-abiding people that we will all comply fully with the directive as submitted by the National Labour Commission, because that is the way to go. If we fail to do something else, I do not think that our membership will be this patient again, because really people are frustrated, and it is leadership that is prevailing upon them that we need to be law-abiding. And so to the extent that National Labour Commission have been proactive and have dealt with the matter, you know, spot-on decision that we should go back and continue negotiation, we are willing to fully comply. What we will not accept is another back and forth again.
What are the three key
What I can tell you is that the Labour Commission indicated that they have not gotten mandate from the Ministry of Finance. And so those at Ministry of Finance, please, if you have to give us financial clearance, please do so. Because our people are frustrated and they are disgruntled. And you know that in our work environment, when we do not have the right frame of mind to take proper decisions, the consequences are dire.
And that's our show for today, folks. It's been lovely, been exciting having you on the pulse. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. Stories on myjoyonline.com. Oliver Baka, Vama of Films, as his treason trial is adjourned again. SNIT hasn't responded to Okujeto Ablakwe's claims. More stories. Other stories also keeping an eye on is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Controller and Government Controller, they've released findings into the Government of Ghana Payroll Administration by blocking payments and removing the corresponding individuals from the government's payroll. The Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Controller says that the Republic saved 34.2 million Ghana cedis for the 2024 financial year. And we have more for you on Joy News Prime, on Top Story, and on Newsnight. Until then, have a good evening. Take care of yourself. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Bobby. See you tomorrow, same time, for another exciting edition of The Pulse. Take care.